The Kindle Paperwhite is about as simple a device as you can get. Getting into your books and straight into reading only takes a few minutes from unboxing it. But if you're willing to go digging through the settings, there are a number of features that aren't so obvious from the beginning. I'm Cam Bunton, this is Trusted Reviews, and in this video I'm going to show you some of my favourite tips, tricks and features of the Kindle Paperwhite. Now it's worth noting a lot of these will also work on other Kindle devices like the entry-level basic Kindle and even the Coloursoft and the Scribe. But first up, schedule the warm light. Our Kindle Paperwhite has a warm light option where you can adjust the temperature of the front lighting system to better suit your environment. It's not automatically based on ambient lighting, sadly, but you can schedule it to come on at set times to suit your reading schedule. It's really handy if you're like me and read most nights before sleep. There are a couple of ways to do it, either swipe down from the top of the screen and tap the schedule arrow above the warmth slider, or go to your Kindle settings. To do this, swipe down and tap the all settings toggle, now tap screen and brightness and then brightness and warmth. You'll see a warmth schedule toggle switch. Toggle that on and either choose the automatic sunrise and sunset option or choose manual, and then pick the times you want to enable it from and when you want it to switch off. At the bottom you'll see a slider for adjusting the temperature for that schedule. Set it to your desired level and that's it. Refresh after every page turn. With e-ink displays like the Kindle, you often find that when the screen changes or you turn a page, you can still see a faint outline of the previous page's details. That's because it hasn't fully refreshed the display, but you can force the Kindle to do a proper refresh every time you turn a page. To enable it, go to your Kindle settings by swiping down from the top and choosing All Settings. Now choose Home and Library, then Reading Options, and on the next screen you'll see a page refresh toggle. Switch it on and now when you read your Kindle, it'll fully refresh the display with every new page. Set a PIN code lock. Now if you want to, you can enable a PIN code lock so that every time you wake up your Kindle, it'll ask you for a PIN. To enable this, go to your Kindle settings and then find Device Options. On the next screen, you'll see Privacy and Security about halfway down the page. Tap it and then on the next screen, toggle on the switch next to Device PIN. Now type your desired PIN of at least 4 digits, repeat it to confirm and then hit Save. Pair your Bluetooth headphones. Now you can pair wireless headphones with your Kindle for listening to audiobooks or using the accessibility feature which reads the screen for you. To do so, go to All Settings in the drop-down screen, tap Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and on the next screen toggle on Bluetooth. Make sure your headphones are in pairing mode nearby and then tap on Bluetooth devices, and you should see any devices available and in pairing mode on the next screen, and if not, tap Rescan and they should appear. Tap on the device that you want to connect to and you're done. Only show unread books. Now on your home screen in the Library tab, you'll notice it has all of the books you've ever purchased or added to your library, but you can filter them to only show the books you haven't read. To do so, make sure you're in the home screen Library tab and then tap the little filters icon in the top left. It looks like sliders on a mixing desk. Tap the Unread option beneath Status, and now it will only show you the unread books. And if you want, you can also choose to only show the books you've downloaded to the device. Disable series grouping. Now by default, when you have multiple books from the same series purchased or downloaded on the Kindle, they're grouped together in the Library tab on your home screen. However, if you want to ungroup them to help you find a specific title in the series a little easier, you can do. Go to the Kindle settings and then Home and Library and tap on the Library tab option. At the top of the page you'll see a toggle for grouping series. Toggle it off and you won't have that feature enabled. Translate words. Now you might find you're reading a book with words from another language in it. In dialogue, for instance, where that dialogue then isn't translated within the story or the book. Or you could be reading in a language that you're not yet entirely familiar with. Thankfully, there is a translator tool in the Kindle to help with this. When in your book, you just tap and hold a specific word within the text and you'll see a dictionary tab appear with a description of what that word means. But if you swipe across to the third tab at the top or the bottom of the screen, you'll find a translation option. Choose the source language, then which language you want to translate to, and it should show up. It is worth noting that the choice of languages is a little limited, but there are many of the more popular languages here. Read in landscape. Now by default, when you use a Kindle, it's set up to be used in portrait orientation. However, you can actually change it while reading so that you're reading in landscape instead. All you have to do is open a book to read and then tap once near the top of the screen to bring up the reading toolbar. Tap the AA icon. This is your view customization or theming button. When you tap it, you'll see a number of different theming and customization choices. So this is where you'll find the option to change the font style, the size and the thickness. But what you're looking for here is layout. Under the layout tab, you'll see orientation. Tap the horizontal one and your page will rotate 90 degrees and display your book in landscape. Show a clock permanently while reading. Now you might want to keep an eye on the time while you're reading, especially if you're reading late into the night. To enable this feature, tap near the top of the page while reading and tap the AA icon, and then tap more in the options that appear in the bottom half of the screen. You'll see a list of different options to enable. Toggle on the switch next to show clock while reading. Enable the page turn animation. In the same menu as the clock showing, you'll find a page turn animation switch. With this enabled, it'll do as the name suggests and show a basic animation when you turn pages, rather than just switching from one page to the other with no flourish. Now bear in mind, this is an e-ink display and so you can't really do complex animations, but it does add a little visual interest to what is quite a sterile reading experience otherwise. However, it doesn't work in dark mode. It only works when the screen is white. Show hints over complicated words. There's a feature called WordWise which shows hints above any words that might be seen as difficult or unusual, or sometimes not actually. To enable this, tap at the top of the page while reading, tap the AA icon, and in the More tab, scroll down until you find WordWise. Tap it and on the next screen toggle it on. Now the book will refresh and you'll immediately see descriptions appear above any complicated words. Now it's pretty aggressive to start with, but if you tap WordWise at the bottom of the page, you can tap to hide them at all, or you can adjust the filter so that it doesn't show lots and lots of them across a single page, restraining itself to just a few. Although it doesn't seem to pick the most difficult ones for some reason. See how long you've got left to read in your book. Now usually when reading you'll see a page number in the bottom left corner of the page. However, you might want to know how long is left in your current chapter or how much time is left in the entire book. Because it learns from your reading speed, the Kindle can show these instead. Just tap the page number in the bottom left and cycle through the different options. You'll find both time left in chapter and time left in book options. Find all the words you've looked up. Now, whenever you tap on a word to find its meaning or translation, the Kindle automatically remembers it and adds it to a list called Vocabulary Builder. Whenever you're in a book, you can tap the top of the page and then tap the three-dot menu and choose Vocabulary Builder, and you'll find all the words you've ever highlighted from any book. Tap the flashcards and you can work through them, showing which book they're from and an excerpt from the text that it appears in. It's a really useful feature, at least if you care about learning new words. View popular book highlights and images. Now Kindle has this feature called X-ray, which organizes and filters out any popular highlights from the book you're reading, along with any images that appear in the book for easy access at any time. Just open the book, tap the top of the page and the three dots in the corner. Choose X-ray from the drop-down list. Notable clip shows paragraphs or sentences important to the story or that have been highlighted by people. The People tab breaks up important characters from the current page or the book, and Images shows all the images in the book and where they're located. Make notes or highlight text. Now you can make notes in any book or highlight sentences and phrases simply by tapping and holding a word and then dragging the indicators at the beginning and the end to cover the sentence, the phrase, or the paragraph. Tap highlight in the options to highlight it, or tap note to add a note. You can then type your note using a basic keyboard and then save it. To find any highlights or notes you've made afterwards in the book, you can tap the top of the screen and then tap the little icon that looks like a book and they'll all appear in there. Send documents to your Kindle. Now there are a few ways to send documents to your Kindle. If you go to settings in your Kindle, then your account, you'll see a send to Kindle email address. And you can simply send an email to that specific address with the document attached and it'll appear in your library. You can also just go to amazon.com/send to Kindle, drag and drop any documents to that web page if you're signed in. There are also apps for Mac, Windows, Android and iPhone where you can simply send any documents you want to land in your Kindle library. On Mac or Windows, as an example, you just download the app, sign in, and then drag and drop the files to the app. On the smartphone, all you have to do is install the usual Kindle app, and whenever you hit share on any document you have opened on your phone, there's an option to use the Kindle share option. If you pick that, you can send the file to your account, and within a few minutes it should appear in the library on your Kindle. Use the web browser. Now, did you know that Amazon Kindle has a very basic web browser? So if you're in a pinch and just need to quickly access something on a web page, you can do. Just head to your Kindle home screen and then tap the 3 dots in the top right corner. In the drop-down list, you'll see Web Browser. Tap that and you'll load a basic browser, and you can navigate to the site that you want or use Google to search for what you're looking for. It's pretty basic and is only really useful for sites that are mostly text, like news sites or Wikipedia. It's certainly not worth trying to go to any sites with lots of animation, videos or images. Factory reset your Kindle. Now, if there are issues with your Kindle and you just want to start again from scratch, or if you hate it and want to send it back, you can erase it, setting it to its factory settings pretty easily. Open the settings menu, tap the 3 dots at the top and right near the X icon. In the drop-down menu, you'll see Reset to Factory Default. Tap that. You'll see a pop-up window asking for you to confirm you want to completely wipe the device, hit Reset, and it'll start the process. You're done. So of course, those are just a few of the tips, tricks and features that you can find in your Kindle. If you have found any extra ones, let me know in the comments, or you can get me on social media. I'm at Cam Bunton in most places. If you did like this video, please do leave a thumbs up, subscribe and tap that notification bell, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye bye.